Hello, all. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 29th edition of weekly webinar series on Catch the Rain campaign presented by National Water Mission, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India, and organized by APAC News Network. This is the 29th edition of this weekly webinar series in which we can see the presence of district magistrates and also the municipal administrators are coming together to discuss and deliberate on various aspects of best practices being leveraged in the districts for the water sector. But before I introduce other speakers for this edition, let me first introduce to all of you. We have the pleasure of having with us Mr. Pankaj Kumar, Secretary Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India, will be delivering the keynote address for the 29th edition of this series. We welcome Sri Pankaj Kumar. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're also joined by Debashri Mukherjee, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India, will be delivering an address and also sharing her thoughts with the district representatives. Welcome, Debashri ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have with us Mr. Saikant Verma, Joint Collector, YSR District, Government of Andhra Pradesh. We welcome Mr. Saikant Verma. Thank you so much for joining us today. We also have with us Priyanka Niranjan, Collector and District Magistrate, Jalaun from the state of Uttar Pradesh. We welcome Priyanka ji. Thank you so much for joining us today. We also have with us Bhavani Singh Palawat, CEO, Zila Parishad, Banswara from the state of Rajasthan. We welcome Bhavani ji. Thank you so much for joining us today. So without taking much time, I'll request Debushri Mukherjee to give her address.
I, I would like to welcome the Secretary Water Resources and all the young the district officers who are here with us today. And without further ado, I will request Secretary Water Resources to deliver his keynote address. Over to you, sir, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Debashri, and a very warm welcome to all the officers heading the districts in today's program. We are going to talk about water, and so let me speak about a few things which most of you may already be knowing, but it needs to be mentioned. As you know, whatever rainfall we receive in the country from the heavens above is limited, and we roughly get the same amount of rainfall. In some year more, in some year less, but if you average it out, it works out to be, a steady quantity that we get on an average. So the amount of water that we receive is not increasing, but our population is, and our economy is. So there is a growing demand for water, whether it is for drinking purpose, whether it is for irrigation in agriculture, whether it is for industrial consumption or other uses. The demand for water has been growing while the per capita availability of water has been reducing. Now, this leads to exploitation of the groundwater. And we are all very familiar with the falling water tables in various parts of the country. The Central Groundwater Board carries out a survey from time to time about the falling, the water levels in our underground aquifers, our wells. And the picture which comes out is that the levels have been going down, faster in some areas, slower in some areas, but in general they have been going down. Only recently, the latest survey of 2020 shows that there is a slight improvement. But we have to remember that we have had the good fortune of having good monsoons for the last 3 years in a row, which is somewhat unusual. And also, a lot of effort has been made by the district administration for water conservation in the recent years. So perhaps it's a bit of both. We are still not sure how much each uh, factor contributes to it. But we do know what is under our control, and that is what we do in the districts, whether it is at the district level, block level, or village level. So there are some indications that these efforts may be changing things on the ground level. Now, when I look back, water has been something which I think most of us have taken for granted. At least my generation, most people used to take it for granted. Water is there. It only has to be utilized. We we didn't worry much about scarcity of water, except in those regions where water was traditionally scarce. And we didn't worry much about how water is used also. So, how water comes to your house and how it goes back, what happens to it, it was something that somebody is taking care of it. It was not discussed much in public space also. But these problems have grown over decades and they became major problems. So, government programs were launched, and I'll touch upon them briefly. So, that was one aspect of water management. There was precious little of it in our administrative ethos, and it's only of late. I mean, the only major effort was for irrigation purposes when we were having this problem about food shortages. And apart from that, there has been, I would say, insufficient attention to management of water in our life at an administrative level. Coupled with that is the issue of how do we manage water? Who manages water? Now, if you look in the districts, you will find that the subject matter of water is dealt with by several departments. It's irrigation, it is drinking water, land resources, soil and water conservation, agriculture, fisheries, animal husbandry and dairies, and you have Krishi Vigyan Kendras. Some states have their own extension wings or their own research wings. And then you have big urban centers, you have your municipalities, large towns, cities, they manage water. So it's so widely distributed that there is no 360-degree view of water available at one place. And this also contributes to, you deal with water at your own in your own way without visualizing the overall picture and how it is affected. So municipalities may not be much concerned about treatment of water, for instance, and so on. So these are the challenges that are there, and that's why the Ganga Action Plan was launched in 80s, because there was a problem of pollution of rivers because of untreated urban sewage. And then it was stepped up in Namami Gange program, and we formed district Ganga committees where DCs in the districts adjoining Gangas, they have this committee, and they bring all the departments together. And I forgot the forest department, a very important department, which also has a lot to do with water conservation. So, with the combined effort of these departments, they work together to see how the the banks of Ganga, the immediate environment of Ganga is kept clean. And then the Jal Shakti Abhiyan was launched in 2019. It was again an effort to bring the departments together. And some state governments know it very well because they had started some version of Jal Shakti Abhiyan even earlier. So this was another attempt to bring the water management at the center with the involvement of DMs, district officers, who are uniquely placed to bring everyone together in that crucial overall view that we must take for water management. Then we had this Atal Bhujal Yojana, an ongoing program in water stressed areas in 7 states, where we are working to build capacity and ask the villages to develop their water security plans. So, on one side, they measure and assess how much water they have. On the other side, they see how much water they are consuming. And then they take decisions, on one hand, to increase supply through water conservation measures, and on the other, even taking decisions about the cropping pattern. So, these are the things that we are aiming at in Atal Bhujal Yojana. And this is quite similar to the work which our district officers, you are doing under Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So we had the Jal Shakti Abhiyan in 2019, then we had it in 2021, and in 2021, in 2020 we didn't have it because of the lockdown as COVID happened. But in 2021, despite the severe COVID second wave, invariably the states participated enthusiastically and the districts did a great job, and we achieved quite a bit in our efforts towards water conservation. And now, very shortly, under Debashri's leadership, Jal Shakti Abhiyan 2022 will also be launched. And this will also continue like earlier Jal Shakti Abhiyans till November in those states which receive rainfall late, and for others it will conclude earlier. So this is the context in which we are operating. We seem to be getting some success, but there is a long way to go and there are many complex issues to be dealt with. There are certain directions in which things are likely to proceed, and these directions are, first of all, we have to become more water efficient. We have to reduce the consumption of water for the same activity or task that we are doing. And if we talk of irrigation or whether we talk of industry, there is plenty of scope in this direction. So we can expect greater pressure in these directions to reduce the consumption of water. Then there is the issue of treatment of water. All our urban water, which is going waste, has to be treated. Now in Amrit 2, which has been launched a few months back by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, you would be aware that there is a target that in the 500 Amrit cities, not a drop of water should go untreated in 5 years' time. So this is an ambitious target, but it is quite clear that we have to move in that direction, and we have to look in a situation where no untreated water is discharged into our water bodies and rivers. And then the third part is the reuse of water. The treated water has to be reused, whether it is reused in agriculture or industry. Ways have to be found out. Now, in all districts, this may not be a burning issue, but in some districts, these issues will be very important. But apart from this, what has to happen, the most important thing is our planning, our management of water at the village level, and broadly at the district level. Though some watersheds cross across the districts, and you have to have a kind of a combined thinking with the joining districts on those matters. But the village level management and the block level management and the district level management are the most crucial parts of the scheme of water management. And therefore, your efforts are going to play a great role. And what you do in the fields encourages us also, because there are many success stories, there are many methods which have been evolved over a period of time, and a lot of good work is being done in the area of water conservation. So in this today's dialogue, I've just tried to give you the overall picture from a perhaps a national perspective, if I might say. But what is more important, because national perspective, there are many people to think about it. But what is more important is what is happening at the ground level. And there is only one district head of the machinery, the district magistrate or the district collector or the deputy commissioner, who marshals all the efforts in this direction. So that's the critical link. So, what is more important is what you think about water conservation, what are your efforts in that direction, and what are your insights in dealing with water issues, what are your plans of doing things about water conservation, taking actions in this year, in this coming year. So that is of great interest to us. And I do hope in today's Water Talk, we will get to hear many interesting things from you. So, with those words, I thank Devashri for organizing this dialogue with DMs, and I thank again all the DMs who are there as panelists or as participants, and I do hope to hear very interesting things from you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shobhik I think now it is over to our young colleagues to talk about what they have done. Thanks.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Debashri Mukherjee, madam, and also a big thank to Pankaj Kumar, Honorable Secretary Minister of Jal Shakti, the Government of India, for giving his overview on the water sector as a whole. But the most important part, which he has said, that the crucial part of effective water management lies in the district level management of water. And that's why this weekly webinar series was envisaged 1.5 years back to get the district administrators together and to discuss the best of the practices of water management in their district so that a blueprint can be made to move forward in the future. With this, I move to the first panelist of this 29th edition of the webinar. Let me invite Mr. Saikant Verma, Joint Collector of YSR District. He's a 2015 batch officer of AP Cadre. He has done his MTech from IIT Madras and also served in various ministries in Government of India and districts in the Andhra Pradesh government. Over to you, Mr. Saikant Verma.
Thank you so much. So good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am, and all my colleagues and panelists. First of all, thank you so much for giving me this great opportunity. If you can permit, I would like to share my slides. Yeah, thank you. May I go ahead? Okay, thank you. So I'd like to introduce by giving a brief profile about our district. Our district, YSR district, it has got a geographical area of 15,000 square kilometers, which is actually quite big as far as the normal Indian size districts are concerned. It has got about 51 mandals, one municipal corporation, 8 municipalities, one Nagar Panchayat, and 790 Gram Panchayats. Our population as per the 2011 census is about 28.82 lakh, spanning across 7 lakh households. Now, YSR district is one of the 4 Rayalaseema region districts and is very prone to severe droughts. In fact, 2018, this district has witnessed a severe drought, because of which we face severe water crisis. And our forest cover in the district is around 32.8%, and several rivers like Penna, Papakni, Chitravati, Mandavya cut across the district, and these are the main water source for the people in the district. Now, coming to the progress in the year 1920, nearly as part of river rejuvenation, we have desilted about 1.34 lakh cubic meters of silt has been removed from the first, second, and third order streams. And we have also taken up the construction of 2,750 check dams across 1,100 streams. We have done 1.4 lakh borewells recharge, and as a result, we have reduced the river gap Ayakat from 1 lakh acres to 37,000 acres. And also, we have taken up clear cut bund demarcation along the rivers, and we have taken up the bund strengthening and also formation of the roads along the bund. Also, as part of intra-basin transformation, uh, we have supplemented Chitravati River with about 4 TMC, Penna River with about 20 TMC, Sagileru and Papagni River with 1 TMC each, so as to rejuvenate as part of the river rejuvenation program in the district. Also, we have taken up several encroachment removal along the river bunds by doing joint inspection with the irrigation department as well as the revenue department. We have erected boundary stones, and lot of land reclamation activities have been taken up to prevent soil erosion. And as I've shown in the previous slide, we have also taken up bund strengthening and formation of road along the bund so that at any point of time we could do the river bund inspection. Overall, in 2019-20, apart from river rejuvenation, we have taken up the following structures, micro storage structures like injection wells 15. We have done about 434 recharge of dried up bore wells, 1,425 roof water harvesting structures, 2,294 mini percolation tanks, 3,200 minor irrigation tanks, 5,400 check dams, 57,000 dugout ponds, and 70,000 farm ponds have been taken up during this year. Now, these are some of the photos of various activities that we have taken up, and to a large extent, we have dovetailed MGNREGS for taking up a series of these activities. So, these are some of the water harvesting structures that we have taken up, and these are the different types of trenches that we have done. And we have taken up these barren hill afforestation, and also we have planned a series of structures along this river, along the hills, so that we could convert this, we could implement this ridge to valley concept. And lot of these barren hills have been, we were able to do a lot of plantation along these barren hills, and we have turned them green. And these are some of the check dams that we have built across the road bridges as part of a river rejuvenation program. Apart from this, we have also taken up desilting of 354 Rajaka tanks, 716 drinking water tanks, and 6,192 cattle ponds. And also, we have taken up a very, very aggressive afforestation activity by planting around about 58.27 lakhs plants in about 29,000 hectares, uh, covering horticulture, bund block, high density plantation, and greening of hillocks. Now, these are some of the slides of plantation activities that we have done in the district. Also, we have taken up this barren hill afforestation, especially this custard apple. It has yielded quite a good result, and we are able to harvest the benefits of this afforestation activity also. Now, we were able to not only augment our water sources, but also we have optimized the utilization of existing water resources that we have. So we have also promoted micro irrigation in our district by taking up micro irrigation in about 8,636 hectares. That resulted in an approximation of 3 TMC of groundwater during the financial year. These are some of the micro irrigation photos that we have done. Now, coming to the crop productivity, because of effective and optimal utilization of water resources, we have witnessed a crop productivity improvement of about 39%. And our groundwater table has also increased from 24 meters to 10.1 meters in about 2 years span. And because of the aggressive afforestation activity that we have taken up, the uh, air pollution has also come down. The ambient air quality data, if you look at especially the particulate matter 10, it has come down from 69 in 2017 to 52 in 2019 as against the standard value of 60. So we have one major cement factory in our district, Bharati Cements. We have convinced them, we have partnered with them in setting up a sewage treatment plant and use the treated sewage water to develop afforestation around the industry. So as we can see, there is a lot of greenery surrounding this particular cement factory. And we have also taken up a series of awareness programs on water conservation, both in rural and urban areas. And we have done more than 66,000 of Kisan Melas in one financial year, which is one of the highest in the country. And these are some of the awards that our district could grab. And uh, thank you so much for leading us from the front and giving a lot of initiatives and driving through a lot of ideas, because of which we are able to harness the minimal water resources that are there in the district. So I once again thank Secretary Sir, Additional Secretary Ma'am, and all the panelists for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saikan Verma, Joint Collector of YSR District. And if I take a nutshell of what you said, that though it's a drought-prone area, so various initiatives have been taken in the district for river rejuvenation, intra-basin transformation, removal of encroachment, trenches, and also optimum use of groundwater. But also at the same time, when we talk about changing the water sector in India, we talk about community participation, and we can see a lot of awareness programs have been arranged in the district. That is quite remarkable. Thank you so much, Saikan Verma. So, from the state of Andhra Pradesh, let's have a perspective from the state of Uttar Pradesh. We have with us Priyanka Niranjan, Collector and District Magistrate of Jalaun, Uttar Pradesh. We welcome Priyanka ji. She's an IS officer of 2013 batch. She was earlier posted as the Special Secretary, Irrigation and Water Resources Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh as well. Can we have Priyanka ji with us? I think she just got disconnected. Maybe some network issue. So we can shift to the other speaker. We have with us Bhavan. I think Priyanka ji has joined back again. Priyanka ji, can you hear us? I think some connectivity issue at her end, because she was there. I think suddenly something has happened.
I'm just trying to share my PPT. Sir, sir.
We also have the presentation with us, ma'am. If you want, we can share the PPT. You can tell us next, and we can keep on changing. I think it's there.
Good evening. First of all, thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. And good evening, Secretary Sir, Additional Secretary Ma'am, and all respected ma'am speakers of this webinar. Myself, Priyanka Niranjan from District Jalaun. In District Jalaun, we have worked on a river rejuvenation project, Noon River. As all of you know, कि Jalaun is a part of Bundelkhand region, and this region is very prone to droughts and very little rainfall. So we have to focus on कि how we can do some rainwater harvesting and how we can uh, uh, do water conservation project for our district. And in Jalaun district has a total population of approx 20 lakhs, and it is surrounded by 5 rivers. Or Jalaun also has many local rivers. So Noon is one of them. Traditional water resources of Jalaun are mainly water ponds, local rivers, and 5 main rivers. Since late 90s, Bundelkhand region, including Jalaun district, witnessed consecutive droughts, massive growth of population and human settlements, resulting in change of land use patterns and over-exploitation of our groundwater resources. So we focus during one of my field visit. I observed that one of the local river like Noon, it is losing its form, and it is converted into small streams and small ponds. So our district team decided that we should focus on this restoration and rejuvenation of our local water resources. In this process, we take up a river Noon. So Noon is 87-kilometer long river, and it covers 4 blocks and 4 blocks and 47 villages. So first of all, we form a committee at district level. At district level, we include a concerned department like irrigation, then जो है revenue, development, and forest. So we make a strategy कि how we can implement our project थ्रू लोकल पार्टिसिपेशन, बिकॉज इट इज वेरी नेसेसरी कि जब तक लोकल्स का पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं होगा उनमें सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस नहीं आएगा, हमारा जो प्रोजेक्ट है वो सस्टेनेबल भी नहीं होगा और इसका जो बेनिफिट्स है वो सभी को मिलेंगे नहीं। तो नून रिवर प्रोजेक्ट के थ्रू वी ट्राइड कि हम इसको लोगों को एग्जाम्पल के द्वारा शो करें कि जो लोकल वाटर हमारे रिसोर्सेस हैं वो कितने लोकल्स के लाइफ में इंपॉर्टेंट है और हमारी एग्रीकल्चर और उनकी सबके लिए कितना जरूरी है। तो इसके लिए भी हम लोग एक प्रोजेक्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्लान बनाया। इसमें 47 जो हमारे विलेजेस थे उनमें हमने अलग एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लान बना के अलग अलग विलेज वाइज इसको प्लान को बनाया। और जैसे कि हमारे प्रीवियस स्पीकर ने भी बोला कि हमने इसमें विलेज वाइज टीम्स बना के उनको विजिट कराई और सबसे पहले फिक्सेशन ऑफ बाउंड्री किया, फिर उसके बाद जो हमारा एंक्रोचमेंट था उसको रिमूव कराया। आफ्टर दैट भी मेड अ टाइम वाइज टारगेट कि हमें इस टाइम तक अपना ये इतना प्रोजेक्ट पूरा कर लेना है। तो बिफोर मानसून वी हैव टू कंप्लीट आवर वर्क, अदरवाइज जो हमारे पीएम साहब का कैंपेन था कैच द रेन, उसके हम पूरी तरह बेनिफिट्स को नहीं ले पाते। सो वी डिसाइडेड द टाइमलाइन एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू टाइमलाइन वी सुपरवाइज एंड मॉनिटर द प्रोग्रेस कि किस तरह से जो है वो इसमें हम पूरा काम टाइम वाइज कर पाए। तो डिफरेंट ब्लॉक्स में वीडियोज को वहाँ वर्क प्लान का हेड बनाया, ब्लॉक वाइज कमेटी हमने ऑर्गेनाइज की और प्रधान जो विलेज हेड है उनकी एक मीटिंग की और उनको बताया है कि आपको इस तरह से ये प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है। उसमें टेक्निकल सपोर्ट इरिगेशन डिपार्टमेंट से लेके प्रॉपर उसका टेक्निकल एस्टिमेट और मनरेगा की प्रोसेस को हमने फॉलो करके इसमें पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप मॉडल को हमने फॉलो किया, जहां पर मनरेगा के थ्रू हम डिफरेंट विलेजेस में डीसिल्टिंग रिवर की और जो जहां पर ऑलरेडी वहां पर बहुत बड़े बड़े हीप्स बन गए थे सिल्टिंग के कारण, उसको हमने क्लियर कराया। और जहां पर पॉसिबल नहीं था मैनुअल लेबर के द्वारा, वहां हमने लोकल विलेजर्स का पार्टिसिपेशन लिया, लोकल इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का पार्टिसिपेशन लिया और उसको क्लियर कराया। तो इस तरह से फुल जो हमारी 87 किलोमीटर की स्ट्रीम थी रिवर की वो क्लियर हुई। और इस रिवर स्ट्रीम के क्लियर होने के कारण टोटल जो हमें इंक्रीज इन वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी हमारा जो हुआ 68,560.10 क्यूबिक मीटर हुआ। और इरिगेशन पोटेंशियल जो हमारे इन विलेजेस का है 47 विलेजेस का वो 278.34 हेक्टेयर इंक्रीज भी हुआ। इसमें हमने केवल रिवर रिजुविनेशन पर ही फोकस नहीं किया, अदर डिपार्टमेंट को भी लाइक माइनर इरिगेशन, हमारा लैंड भूमि संरक्षण डिपार्टमेंट, ग्राम सभा और फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट, इनको भी इंक्लूड किया। जिसमें माइनर इरिगेशन ने चेक डैम्स, पॉन्ड्स और जो एग्जिस्टिंग चेक डैम्स थे उनके रिपेयर और डिसिल्टिंग पर फोकस किया। इसमें डिपार्टमेंटल बजट एंड मनरेगा स्कीम्स को हमने कन्वर्ट किया और टोटल हमारी जो वाटर स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी थी वो डिफरेंट वर्क्स के द्वारा इंक्रीज हुई। लाइक एमआई डिपार्टमेंट में चेक डैम्स के द्वारा 144.4 मिलियन हेक्टेयर हमने और ज्यादा इंक्रीज किया। इसके बाद पॉन्ड रिस्टोरेशन से भी 9,194 और रिपेयर एंड डिसिल्टिंग ऑफ एग्जिस्टिंग चेक डैम्स उनसे भी 224.54 हेक्टेयर जो हमारी स्टोरेज वाटर कैपेसिटी थी उसको हमने बढ़ाया। इसके साथ ही जो हमारे विलेजेस थे उसमें हमने लोकल भी विलेज वाइज प्रोजेक्ट बनाए, जिसमें मेड़बंदी या कंटूर बंद और पॉन्ड एक्सकेवेशन, लोकल वाटर रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स थे उनको लिए। इसमें जो पीएम सर का मेन हम लोगों का गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल था कि गांव का पानी गांव में एंड खेत का पानी खेत में। सो स्पेशली इन जलौन डिस्ट्रिक्ट वी फोकस्ड ऑन खेत तालाब योजना because in Bundelkhand region holdings are comparatively large, so farmers focus on कि उनके ही खेत में जो है वो pond excavation अगर हो जाता है तो they can store rain water in that pond and they can use that water throughout the year. So we focused on pond excavation scheme या खेत तालाब योजना, और this benefits are lots to our district. So due to because of all these initiatives हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में टोटल इरिगेशन पोटेंशियल भी इंक्रीज हुआ। एंड इससे अगर हम देखें तो डायरेक्टली 4,386 फार्मर्स डायरेक्टली और 10,965 फार्मर्स इनडायरेक्टली बेनिफिटेड हुए। और एक बार हम लोग ये नून रिवर को रिस्टोर करने के बाद मॉनसून रीजन में फिर हमने विलेज वाइज सेकेंड प्रोजेक्ट बनाए और इसमें फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट को इंक्लूड करते हुए रिवर के अलोंग डिफरेंट पार्क्स और फॉरेस्टेशन प्लान किया। और उस फॉरेस्टेशन को प्लान करने के बाद वहाँ के विलेज को ही उसका नोडल बनाया कि आप इसको कम्युनिटी फॉरेस्ट की तरह कंजर्व करिए ताकि इन फ्यूचर इट विल गिव बेनिफिट टू योर विलेज ओनली. So this year also we are focusing on Khet Talab and we have taken up 3 rivers for this year, because in Jalaun approx we have 5 to 6 local rivers which are main sources of water, irrigation water and drinking water for animals and all other purposes. So we are focusing on all 3 rivers for three this year, and we have also set target for pond excavation and check dams through Manrega and departmental fund conversions. So this is my observation, and this is our district team initiative. Through that, we have ensured the rainwater harvesting for Jalaun district, and हम लोगों ने लोगों को ये बताया कि जो एक नोशन था यहाँ लोकल रेजिडेंट्स में कि इफ रिवर हैज बीन एक्सटिंक्ट तो ये सही नहीं हो सकती, एंड पीपल यूज टू एनक्रोच दैट लैंड, बट ड्यू टू नून रिवर रिजुविनेशन ना केवल जो सोशल नोशन है उसमें चेंज आया, और बल्कि ये भी आया कि यदि हम जो रिवर के अलोंग साइड्स के फार्मर्स हैं वो लैंड को एनक्रोच करके पूरे होल विलेज का नुकसान करते हैं, तो हमें वो रिसोर्सेज जो हैं वो कॉमन है, हमारा सोशल एसेट्स हैं, उसको हमें कंजर्व करेंगे तो हमारे पूरे जो फार्मर्स हैं और जो हमारा एग्रीकल्चरल एरिया है वो बेनिफिट होगा, और फाइनली लॉन्ग टर्म में इसके सभी को रिजल्ट्स मिलेंगे. सो ये जो पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप का मॉडल हमने यूज किया नून रिवर रिजुविनेशन में, वो हमें काफी बेनिफिट किया. और नाउ लोग मेरे पास आ रहे हैं, प्रधान सर कमिंग टू मी कि मैम प्लीज टेक अप द रिवर फ्रॉम माय विलेज. और अभी जबकि नून रिवर में हमें मीटिंग करके प्रधान को या हमारे जो ऑफिसर्स थे उनको इंस्पायर करना पड़ा था कि लेट्स टेक अप दिस प्रोजेक्ट. सो ये हमने उनको ये इनिशियल जो अभी ये स्लाइड्स हैं ये बिफोर वर्क की हैं कि किस तरह से वो रिवर जो है वो स्मॉल स्ट्रीम्स और पॉन्ड्स के फॉर्म में थी, एंड ये हमने ड्यूरिंग वर्क में हमने इसको किया. फिर जब हमने इसका पूरा रिवर का बेड क्लियर कर लिया तो आफ्टर मॉनसून इसमें रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग के बाद ये हमारा वाटर स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी में इतना इंक्रीज हुआ. These are some photographs. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanka Niranjan, Collector and District Magistrate Jalaun, Government of Uttar Pradesh, for sharing with us her thoughts, various initiatives being taken in the district for Noon River rejuvenation. And as you have said, that again, community participation, local people's participation has been a game changer. And as you have said at the end, that now the pradhans from other villages are coming to you and asking you that please work in our villages so that some work can be done on river rejuvenation and also rainwater harvesting. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. With this, we move to the other part of the country. We move to the western part of the country. We have with us Bhavani Singh Palawat, CEO Zila Parishad of Banswara from Rajasthan.
Sir, namaskar.
From Banswara. He has served in various positions, which includes Additional Collector of Jhalawar, also CEO of Baran Zila Parishad, and also earlier in the Directorate of Medical Education in UIT Kota. So over to you, Bhavani ji. आपका प्रेजेंटेशन हमारे पास है, हम लोग यहाँ से प्ले कर रहे हैं, आप अपना स्पीच दीजिए प्लीज.
सर, सेक्रेटरी साहब, ऑनरेबल एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी मैम और सभी पैनलिस्ट, बांसवाड़ा जो जिला है ये 2 जिलों की जहाँ पहले बात हुई है उनमें एक डिफरेंट है. वहां पर ड्रॉट प्रोन एरिया था, मगर बांसवाड़ा राजस्थान का सर्वाधिक वर्षा वाला क्षेत्र है, जिसे राजस्थान का चेरापूंजी भी कहा जाता है. यहाँ पर जो बारिश का रेनफॉल एवरेज है वो 950 mm है सर, जबकि राजस्थान का 40 mm के करीब ही एवरेज रेनफॉल है. मैं यहाँ निवेदन करना चाहूँगा कि हमारा जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट का टोटल एरिया है 5037 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर का है, और उसके अंदर फॉरेस्ट लैंड है 91,554 हेक्टेयर की. यहाँ 2 मेजर रिवर्स हैं सर, माही रिवर और अनास रिवर. माही रिवर पर हमारा माही बांध बंधा हुआ है, और उस बांध के अंदर यहाँ टोटल जो इरिगेशन का काम है वो माही बांध के अंतर्गत ही आता है, जिसमें हमारा जो हायर ऊंचाई वाला क्षेत्र है उसमें पानी नहीं जा पाता है, परंतु जो नीचाई वाला क्षेत्र है उसमें सारा इरिगेशन उसी से हो रहा है. और इसी के बाद माही बांध बनने के बाद यहाँ जिले की जो कृषि व्यवस्था है वो ठीक हो पाई है. पहले यहाँ पर मक्का करी जाती है, पूरी बटी और इस तरीके से मोटे अनाज वाली खेतियां हुआ करती थी, परंतु जब से ये माही बांध बना है तब से यहाँ पर चावल भी हो रहा है, गेहूं भी हो रहा है, और इस वक्त भी मक्का, दोनों सीजन्स में यहाँ पर मक्का होती है. तो निश्चित रूप में हम बड़े सौभाग्यशाली हैं कि यहाँ राजस्थान की इतनी हाई रेनफॉल और उसका बेनिफिट हमें मिल रहा है. परंतु लोग बागों में थोड़ी सी लापरवाही थी, जिसको धीरे धीरे दूर किया गया और उन्हें समझाया गया जल के महत्व को। हमारे राजस्थान के जो 11 डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं वो ड्रॉट डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं। उन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पानी की कमी है उसकी बातें यहाँ पर लोगों को बताई गई और उनसे ये पता लगा लोग बागों को कि पानी का वास्तव में मूल्य है और इसे बचाया जाना चाहिए। मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि सर हमारे 11 ब्लॉक्स हैं और 417 पंचायतें हैं, इनमें 1514 विलेजेज हमारे पास में हैं। नेक्स्ट सर, रिवर रेस्टोरेशन के अंतर्गत हमने अभी 1282 वर्क कराए गए हैं सर, और इनमें जो मेन माही रिवर और अनास रिवर पे हमने ये काम किए हैं, जिसमें पिचिंग का काम किया है, तटबंधों को सुरक्षित किया गया है ताकि कटाव वगैरह नहीं हो और खेतों में किसी तरीके की प्रॉब्लम नहीं आए। इसी तरीके फ्लड प्लेन्स के अंदर ट्रेंचेज का और डाइवर्जन चैनल्स का और नाला ट्रीटमेंट के कार्य किए गए हैं। इन कार्यों के माध्यम से हमारे यहाँ पर जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन हुआ है वो 18.05 लाख मैंडेज जनरेशन हुए हैं तथा 35,000 फैमिलीज वगैरह को इसमें बेनिफिटेड किया गया है। नेक्स्ट सर, यहाँ जिले के अंदर जो आर्टिफिशियल रिचार्ज स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाए गए हैं उनके अंदर एमपीटी 2614 हैं, एनीकट 67 है, पक्का चेक डैम 32 हैं और अदर वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर 141 तथा रिनोवेशन के 29 स्ट्रक्चर्स का निर्माण किया गया है। इन स्ट्रक्चर्स के माध्यम से जो 2305 डिफरेंट वाटर कंजर्वेशन स्ट्रक्चर थे वो बनाए गए हैं, जिनमें मुख्य रूप से तालाब है, मेड़बंदियां हैं, छोटी तलाइयां हैं। इनका निर्माण कार्य नरेगा के माध्यम से किए गए हैं। जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन हुआ है इसके अंतर्गत, नरेगा के अंतर्गत, तो 42,811 फैमिलीज वगैरह को प्राप्त हुआ है तथा 27.86 लाख मैंडेज का जनरेशन सृजन हुआ है। सर, मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि इसकी वजह से जिले के अंदर जो ये वाटर बॉडीज बनाई गई उनसे 1 से 1.5 मीटर तक ग्राउंड लेवल का वाटर ऊपर की तरफ राइज हुआ है और इससे क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न में भी काफी चेंजेस आने लगे हैं। जिन इलाकों में पहले सूखी खेती बरसात पे ही जो आधारित रहे उन्होंने गेहूं करना शुरू कर दिया है, मक्का करना शुरू कर दिया है। जहां पर पानी की थोड़ी कमी थी उन्होंने अपनी सब्जियां वगैरह उगाना प्रारंभ कर दिया है और दूसरी कैश क्रॉप्स भी लेना, सोयाबीन जैसी क्रॉप्स करना, इरंडी जैसी क्रॉप्स करना प्रारंभ कर दिया है। और इसकी वजह से जो ये कुओं का काम हमने कराया, इससे जो वाटर लेवल था, कुओं का वाटर लेवल भूमि के लेवल के बराबर तक आ गया है। आगे कुछ फोटोग्राफ्स आप देखेंगे तो उनमें ये पाया जाएगा कि किस तरीके से इनका काम इतना अच्छे लेवल पे हुआ है कि पानी ऊपर ही पड़ा हुआ है, जैसे 5 फीट भी नीचे पानी नहीं है लैंड लेवल से। और ये आगे नेक्स्ट सर, नवाखेड़ा बांसवाड़ा के अंदर ये एमपीटी और डीप सीसीटी का जो काम करवाया गया है, एक बेदला में एमपीटी का काम कराया गया है, एनीकट निर्माण कुशलगढ़ जो पंचायत समिति हमारा हाई अल्टीट्यूड वाला एरिया है, वहां पर बारिश का पानी सारा बह करके इसमें माही बांध में आ जाता है। तो आप ये देखेंगे कि पूरी नाले को ठीक तरीके से बांध करके वहां लोगों को कृषि के लिए भूमि अवेलेबल हो रही है। इसी तरीके से माइक्रो वाटर स्टोरेज स्ट्रक्चर्स जो हमने क्रिएट किए गए, उनके अंदर 37 एमआईटी और 45 एमआईटी का निर्माण किया गया, जिनमें 45 मिलियन क्यूबिक फीट पानी का संरक्षण किया गया और वहां इकट्ठा हुआ। इसी तरीके से 45 एमएसटी का निर्माण किया गया, जिसमें 59.35 मिलियन क्यूबिक फीट पानी का रिचार्ज उसमें सृजित हो सका। इससे इरिगेशन के अंदर काम हुआ, ड्रिंकिंग में वाटर के रूप में भी काम हुआ, जानवरों वगैरह के लिए भी काम होने लगा और इससे बहुत से लाभ वहां पर मिल रहे हैं। इसके अंदर जो कृषि योग्य क्षेत्र में परिवर्तन हुआ है वो 450 हेक्टेयर एडिशनल एरिया कल्टीवेशन के अंतर्गत आ गया, जो पूर्व में इसके कल्टीवेशन में नहीं था। तो ये एक अलग से अचीवमेंट इन एमआईटी और एमएसटी की वजह से हमें प्राप्त हुआ है। मैं सर निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि माइक्रो इरिगेशन में जो अन्य एरिया आया है उसमें अभी जो कृषि कराने के लिए जो हम काश्तकारों वगैरह को जो ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हैं, उनको एक्टिविटीज कर रहे हैं। अभी पिछले दिनों हमारे प्रशासन गांव के संग अभियान जो कार्यक्रम हुआ 2 अक्टूबर से लेकर के 15 दिसंबर तक ये काम चला, जिसमें हमने काश्तकारों को इसके संबंध में कम पानी वाली फसलें बोने के लिए प्रोत्साहित किया, तथा हमारे कलेक्टर साहब के माध्यम से भी हम लगातार इन काश्तकारों से मिलकर के ड्रिप इरिगेशन से सिंचाई करने के लिए, स्प्रिंकलर से सिंचाई करने के लिए, मिनी स्प्रिंकलर से सिंचाई करने के लिए मोटिवेट कर रहे हैं। और इससे 868 हेक्टेयर एरिया के अंदर 896 परिवारों को इसका लाभ मिला है। और इसके लाभ के साथ साथ ही इससे ड्रिप इरिगेशन से 70% तथा स्प्रिंकलर से 30% वाटर कंजम्पशन था, वो उसमें कमी आई है कि वो कम यूज करने लगे हैं, तो उनके पास एक्सेस वाटर अवेलेबल हो गया, उससे एडिशनल एरिया के अंदर वो अपनी फसलें बोने लग गए हैं। नेक्स्ट सर, ये रूफटॉप रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चर्स हैं, इनके अंदर हमारे यहाँ 2021 के अंदर 24 रूफटॉप हार्वेस्टिंग स्ट्रक्चरों का निर्माण किया गया, तथा 6196 ओपन वेल्स, जो आप इस पिक्चर के अंदर देख पा रहे होंगे, इनका वाटर लेवल देखें, बिल्कुल नाले के पानी के बराबर लेवल पर उपलब्ध है। तो इससे ऊपर से बहुत ही फायदा हुआ है। और उन इलाकों में चावल वगैरह की, जो हमारे यहाँ एक काली कमोद नाम का एक छोटी फसलें होती है चावल की, एक लोकल प्रोडक्ट है, तो उसकी ये करने लग गए हैं और इनका बड़ा लाभ उन्हें मिला है। और इससे जो फैमिलीज वगैरह को जो बेनिफिट हुआ, 18,588 फैमिलीज है, उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन हुआ, तथा 52.17 लाख मैंडेज का नरेगा में इनको व्यक्तिगत लाभ के काम दिए गए थे सर। नरेगा के अंदर जो हम व्यक्तिगत लाभ के काम देते हैं, उसमें करीब 3 लाख रुपए का काम देते हैं। और उसमें एक तो कुआं निर्माण होता है, नेडअप कंपोस्ट है, वृक्षारोपण है, और पशु शेड, कैटल शेड उसके लिए अवेलेबल कराते हैं इसके माध्यम से। तो इन काश्तकारों को बहुत ही बेनिफिट हुआ है, उनके आय में भी वृद्धि हुई है इसकी वजह से। मेजर एडप्टेड फॉर प्रोटेक्टिंग रिचार्ज एरियाज, इनके लिए हमारे यहाँ पर पीएचडी डिपार्टमेंट की ये वैन है, जो वहां जाकर के मौके पर सैंपल वगैरह लेती हैं और उनको समय समय पर जाकर के लोगों को एजुकेट करती है। इसी तरीके से 241 पीजोमीटर भी यहाँ पर लगाए गए हैं, जिनसे भी हम जल के लेवल का मेजर कर पा रहे हैं। अभी इस साल भी हमारे यहाँ पर पहले पूर्व के वर्षों के अंदर मुख्यमंत्री जल स्वावलंबन और राजीव गांधी जल संचय योजना के माध्यम से भी अभी अपने यहाँ पर जिले के अंदर काम चल रहे हैं, जो पूरे स्टेट के अंदर अच्छे तरीके के काम हुए हैं। इनमें भी वाटर संरचनाओं को ही अधिकतम निर्माण किया गया है। ये जो गंदा पानी आता है ग्रे वाटर का, इसके अंदर प्रत्येक पंचायत समिति के जो हेडक्वार्टर हैं 11, उनमें अभी पहले एक प्रयोगात्मक रूप से तलवाड़ा और कुपड़ा जो गांव है, उनके अंदर हमने वहां जो शहर का गंदा पानी आ रहा है, क्योंकि एसटीपी लगाना काफी कॉस्टलियर है और पानी की इतनी उपलब्धता भी वहां पर नहीं है, उनके लिए ये केली के पौधे लगा करके और वहां पानी परकोलेशन टैंक वगैरह का निर्माण किया है, जिससे वो पानी छन करके उस सिंचाई के लिए लोगों को उपलब्ध हो रहा है। इसी तरीके से डीवाट सिस्टम का यूज करके भी हमने तलवाड़ा के अंदर ये डीवाट सिस्टम का यूज किया गया है, और पानी को ट्रीट करने के आधार पे आपके जो वहां से जो टीम आई थी, उनको भी हमने दिखाया था कि जो पानी इसके अंदर से चल के जाता है, तो उनकी जो गाद होती है वो नीचे बैठ जाती है और अच्छा पानी ऊपर की तरफ नितर करके साफ होकर के आ जाता है। इसी तरीके से जो अपने नदी नालों के अंदर जो एंक्रोचमेंट थे, उनको हटाने के लिए भी हमने, और समय समय पर जो ये बजरी निकालते हैं नालों के अंदर से, उनके लिए ये नावों वगैरह को जब्ती की कार्यवाही भी यहाँ पर फॉरेस्ट विभाग के माध्यम से और की गई है। और उनमें जहां जहां पर ये लोग बाग कर रहे हैं, उनके विरुद्ध 3 FIR भी दर्ज की गई हैं, तथा 31 मशीनरियां वगैरह जो इनके छोटे नाव्स हैं, उनको भी हमने जब्त किया है सर। ये प्लांटेशन के मामले में मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा, वैसे यहाँ अच्छी बारिश होने के कारण काफी अच्छा प्लांटेशन और सघन प्लांटेशन बांसवाड़ा जिले में उपलब्ध है, परंतु इन सब के बावजूद भी सड़क के किनारे पर पौधे लगा करके हरियाली को बढ़ाने की कार्यवाही की जा रही है, तथा वन विभाग के माध्यम से क्लस्टर के रूप में भी वृक्षारोपण का कार्य किया गया है। एक पिछले दिनों हमारे यहाँ घर घर औषधि योजना थी, जिसमें 14,67,896 प्लांट्स 4 वितरित किए गए इन सब फैमिलीज वगैरह को। फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट द्वारा भी 23,86,147 प्लांट्स की रुपाई की गई है, ताकि वो सघनता प्राप्त हो सके। नरेगा के अंतर्गत भी 92,079 प्लांट्स का हमने लगाया है। और इसके साथ ही साथ मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि एनजीटी के डायरेक्शन है कि हर गांव के अंदर एक एक वाटर बॉडी होनी चाहिए, और उस वाटर बॉडीज के तहत हम काम कर रहे हैं। हमारे 1517 जो टोटल विलेजेज हैं, उनमें नरेगा के माध्यम से हम वहां जहां पर भी वाटर बॉडीज हैं, चाहे छोटे एनीकट हैं, उनकी रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस का काम है, ये सब हम लगातार इसमें स्वीकृत करे जा रहे हैं। और वहां पर जो पानी, गंदा पानी आकर के तालाब में इकट्ठा नहीं हो, इसके लिए लोगों को समझाइश कर रहे हैं, तथा उस पानी को अलग तरीके से निकाल करके उसके ट्रीटमेंट के लिए जो डीवाट और ऐसे सिस्टम लगाने के कार्यवाही प्रक्रियाधीन है सर। ये सेंसिटाइजेशन के लिए मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि अभी प्रशासन गांवों के संग अभियान प्लस काश्तकारों को हम समय समय पर इसके बारे में बताते रहते हैं, ग्राम सभाओं के माध्यम से भी बताते हैं। अभी हमारा जो बांसवाड़ा है वो पेशा क्षेत्र के अंतर्गत आता है, तो यहाँ हर विलेज वाइज ग्राम सभाएं करने के नियम है। तो प्रत्येक गांव के अंदर लोगों को इकट्ठा करना, ढोल बजा करके, और उन्हें इस संबंध में सेंसिटाइज करना, ये बताया जा रहा है सर। ये मेन बांसवाड़ा जिले के अंदर अपनाई गई मेथोडोलॉजी थी सर, जो मैं आपको निवेदन किया है। थैंक यू सर।
हाँ, 10 मिनट के लिए
Thank you, Ji, for sharing with us the glimpse of Banswara district in Rajasthan. As you have said, that's the beauty of India. Perhaps that's also a challenge that in 3 districts which are presented today, you have seen 2 districts are drought prone and 1 district is full of rain. That's the beauty of India. So there are challenges manifold, but that also gives us the opportunity to overcome those challenges with innovation for proper water management. So over to you, Devashri Mukherjee, madam, for your thoughts on the presentations delivered today.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start with thanking the Secretary, thanking Secretary Water Resources for giving us an overview in terms of challenges and what is going forward. It was great to hear from all the people in the field, and I think we understand that your leadership, and here I speak to the collector, the CEO, as well as the joint collector, that your leadership in the field is critical in terms of managing the local water challenges. So what you are doing is inspirational. I think the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, Government of India learns from all of you in terms of how to prioritize, how to do things. And, it would also be interesting to know that we've heard about what has gone well. It would be interesting sometimes to also know what has not gone so well. What did you try and what didn't work so well? So that would be an area that I would really be interested in. What didn't work well and why didn't it work well? Because frequently we take up a lot of things that don't succeed, and we learn from that and we move on as well. So that would be interesting. The other, I think I will just touch upon 3 points. One is that, as Mr. Goswami said, we are seeing in the presentations made today the diversity of the country. We have 2 drought-prone districts and 1 district which has a lot of water, but which is also upstream and which has to manage catchments and the water supply to a very large area of Rajasthan. So how this district, how Banswara manages its rivers, आप अपने नदियों को जिस तरह से स्वस्थ रखेंगे, उस हिसाब से बाकी राजस्थान में हम पानी का मुहैया करा सकेंगे. So that is also very, very important. Now, under the Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which everybody is taking up and which we will again take up this year, one of the major initiatives was creating your water security plan for your district. And that sort of gives coherence to our efforts going forward. So that is about identifying the challenges in the area of water in the district. Are there blocks that need more attention than others? And also, it is one is about managing shortages, but also about managing floods. There will be times of the year, and this is happening more and more increasingly frequently, that you have extreme precipitation events. So if you're ready to recharge during the rains, if your water bodies are clean and ready, then your extreme flooding events, particularly also in your urban areas, could be reduced. Not eliminated, but the impact could be reduced. So I am suggesting that this water security plan, I hope the districts have prepared the water security plan and the district and the list of projects. If you have, review the plan and see what is it that you're ready to do for the current Jal Shakti Abhiyan. The second area that we've been talking about, and all of you have done this exceedingly well, is about the rejuvenation of rivers as well as water bodies. Now, my request is, have all the water bodies been mapped, and have their coordinates been entered, have them been entered in the revenue records, because water bodies have a habit of disappearing if they are not sort of entered in the revenue records. So I would urge districts to look at this very, very seriously this year. The third issue that I would like to talk about, I said 3 points, I'm going to mention 4. The third issue that I'm going to talk about is that this year we are adding focus on spring sheds. And if you have springs in your district, it may not be relevant in every district, but if you have springs in your districts, please identify them, again, document, and look at the catchments in these springs, how to manage the spring sheds better, because they are critical for overall water security. The fourth point, which I make to all my colleagues who are part of these webinars, is, can you bring in a third party agency to do a good documentation of the special initiatives you have done? And we'd be very happy, because what you are doing, other people will learn from. But it would be interesting to have, local colleges, local institutions, local educational institutions, please bring in and document the work, not just the what, not just the numbers, but the hows. And National Water Mission would be very, very happy to publish what you have done. So please document so that everybody can learn from your effort. Thank you very much. And sir, if you have a few words of guidance for us in terms of, going forward, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Well, it's been very encouraging to hear the presentations from the 3 districts and have a knowledge of the good work that they have done and what they are going to do. And my request to all the districts is to get ready for the Jal Shakti Abhiyan 2022 and see how much you can take your district forward, take your villages forward in ensuring water security for your villagers.
Right. Thank you so much. That was Sri Pankaj Kumar, Secretary, Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India, along with Debashri Mukherjee, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Minister of Jal Shakti Government of India, along with 3 young Turks from the various districts, that is YSR district of AP, Saikan Verma, Priyanka Niranjan, Collector and Dean of Jalaun, and BS Barawarji from the Banswara, Rajasthan. And as Secretary Sir and Additional Secretary Ma'am have said, that let us all prepare for Jal Shakti Abhiyan Part 3, that is 2022. And so gear up district administrators that we are doing a lot of things, but we need to do a lot of things more. And as Devoshri Madam has said, that the water security plan, review of that plan, mapping of water bodies, spring sheds, water work being done, and documenting the work which NWN can publish later on as well. And that has been the uh, aim of organizing this weekly webinar with district authorities and municipal administrators, so that the best practices can be shared. As Devashri ma'am was saying, that it's a diverse country. So many things. Every state, every district has got their own challenge, unique problems, can also result in unique innovation, unique solving things as well. So with this, we end this 29th edition. Do catch us on the 30th edition. But before we end, we can end with a quote of a famous statesman from the other country, when he said that anyone who can solve the problems of water will be worthy of two Nobel Prizes, one for peace and one for science, because that's we talking about the greater humankind. That's the power of water. So save water and also manage water effectively. Thank you so much. Take care. Goodbye.